Bayern Munich, the largest club in Germany and one of the most famous sporting institutions on the planet. They've had the icons of the game representing them for well over 100 years in history, and yet with all the success and the size, they aren't immune to mistakes. Players that have slipped through the cracks and became stars on their own elsewhere. These are the forgotten players of Bayern Munich. Speaking of forgetting, please do not forget to subscribe to the Football Records. Potentially one of the biggest stars to be let go from Bayern is Kenan Yieldis. Born in Regensburg, Germany in 2005, Kenan is part of a new generation of dual national footballers with huge ceilings. His father is Turkish, his mother is German, and from the very beginning, football ran through his veins. By the age of 7, Kenan was already enrolled in Bayern Munich's youth academy, a place known for producing efficiency and excellence. He rose through the age groups as a creative midfielder with a touch of flair that stood out even among Bayern's notoriously rigid system. And during the 2021-2022 season, playing for Bayern's U19s, he registered 6 goals and 8 assists in 20 matches, and strong numbers for a teenager operating in the middies. But despite his performances, contract talks, well, they stalled. Bayern surprisingly didn't meet his terms, whether it was the money or playing time assurances or a combination of both. Kenan decided it was time for something new, which led to the summer of 2022. Rhymes not intended, but he left Bayern Munich on a free transfer. Not for a mid-table Bundesliga side, not for a quiet developmental league. He went straight to Juventus, a club with nearly as much tradition and pressure as Bayern, if not more. In Turin, Kenan didn't waste any time. He began in Juventus Next Gen, which is their development squad. But by the end of 2023, he was not just knocking on the first team door, he was kicking it down. Fast forward, August 2024, they handed him the number 10 shirt, the most iconic number in Juventus history, worn by the legends like Del Piero, Baggio, Tevez, Platini. And for a 19-year-old, that's more than a squad number, that's a statement. Kenan, he's responded with highlight-worthy material. September 17th, 2024, he scores his gorgeous curling goal in a Champions League group stage match against PSV, and in doing so, he became Juve's youngest ever Champions League scorer, breaking the record held by the one and only Alessandro Del Piero. By this point, there's no longer a question of whether he's ready, it's a matter of what he's gonna do next. And we should mention, we're seeing the razzle and the dazzle at 6'2", a big but elegant presence in the final third. And as of now, transfer market values him at 50 million euros. That makes him Turkey's most valuable player ever. Juventus are already working on an extension through 2030. And ironically, Bayern, they could be back in the conversation. They're tracking his progress. But getting him back would be a bit of a miracle, or at least a monster feat. Angelo Stiller, a name that might not resonate like the Thomas Muller or the Joshua Kimmich, but this Munich-born midfielder is quietly becoming one of Germany's most underrated orchestrators. He's got everyone in tune. Full attention. Born on April 4th, 2001 in Munich, Stiller started his football journey at TSV Milbertshofen before being recruited into Bayern Munich's academy at age 9. He spent over a decade at Sabenierstrasse, rising through the youth ranks and captaining the side, leading Bayern's under-17s to a regional title in 2018. By the following year, he was starting for Bayern Munich 2, their reserve squad, making 50 appearances and contributing to their title-winning 2019-2020 season. Yet, despite his talent and strong passing range, first-team minutes at Bayern were hard to come by. Players like Kimmich and Goretzka were ahead of him, and coach Hansi Flick was reluctant to risk youth. So in January of 2021, Stiller moved on a free transfer to TSG Hoffenheim, seeking regular minutes. And he'd get just that. In 2 seasons, he made 47 Bundesliga appearances, scoring 3 goals, and continued his development under Sebastian Hoeneß. Then came August 25th, of 2023 when Stiller once again leveled up. This time signing with VfB Stuttgart on a 4-year deal. Under Hernandez in Stuttgart, he flourished. And in the 2023-2024 season, he anchored the midfield across 31 league games, scoring once and having 5 assists, but more importantly, helping Stuttgart finish in a surprise runner-up position in the Bundesliga just ahead of Bayern Munich. All this form, it's not gone unnoticed. In early 2025, reports have surfaced of top clubs circling him. Liverpool, they're tracking, believing that his release clause could be around 37 million euros. Maybe it's triggered in 2026 or even sooner. And Real Madrid is also potentially in the mix, reportedly showing some interest as well, with internal scouting already underway. And then Bayern, they're joining the conversation. This could be one of those 360 moments with the return to the club that you began, replacing potentially an aging Kimmich. Stiller could be seen as a natural successor, and transfer market now values him between 40 to 60 million euros, making him one of Germany's most valuable young central midfielders. Emre Can, a name that might spark memories in kits that are yellow as opposed to red. The German midfielder came through the ranks with Bayern originally. Born in February of 1994 in Frankfurt to Turkish parents, Emre started at SV Blaugelb Frankfurt before joining Eintracht Frankfurt's youth system. And at age 15, he had moved to Bayern Munich's academy, transitioning from defense to midfield as he rose through the ranks, which explains the versatility we've seen in his senior career in terms of being able to move without a drop-off between positions. By 2012, he was playing for Bayern 2, and he made his debut in the DFL Super Cup, followed by league appearances in April of 2013. He even scored once against Freiburg, but Bayern's midfield was too packed. Emre made the bold decision as he left for Bayer Leverkusen in summer of 2013 to gain more playing time. And that move, well, it paid off. During the 2013 to 2014 season, Emre started regularly at Leverkusen, making 29 league appearances and scoring 3 goals. He took part in the Champions League, which caught a bit more of an international eye, and Liverpool was at the doorstep making offers, and he made a move in 2014 for around £10 million. And at Liverpool, Emre developed into a powerhouse. Over 4 seasons, he made 115 league appearances, scoring 10 goals and a bicycle kick that I have replaying up top, and became known for his physicality and his technique. He played a key role in Klopp's side as they competed deep into Europe and secured Champions League qualification. By 2018, he had moved to Juventus on a free transfer, and his first season was solid. 37 league appearances, a Serie A title. However, under Maurizio Sarri, his opportunities started to dwindle, and by January of 2020, he was left out of the Champions League squad, prompting frustration and a move to Borussia Dortmund on loan, with a permanent switch soon after. And at Dortmund, he revitalized, he reinvented. Emre found stability, and he had that leadership. He became a versatile enterprise playing in the midfield, the defense, even fullbacks, before focusing on a more defined defensive holding midfield role. His dynamic utility, the passing, tackling, and leadership earned him the captain's armband by 2023 as the team finished as Bundesliga runner-up and reached a Champions League final. For Bayern fans, Emre is another reminder that talent doesn't always blossom where it begins. Nicola Sansone, a Munich-born talent who slipped through Bayern Munich's grip and quietly built a successful career across Europe. Sansone began kicking the ball about at a local club level until getting noticed, or Bayern at least taking notice, and he joined that prestigious youth academy at age 11, where he spent nearly a decade honing his skills. In the under-19 matches, he netted 21 goals in roughly 30 games, and those are solid numbers for any forward, yet alone given a little touch of flair and beauty of the expressive sorts. By February of 2010, Sansone was making his professional debut for Bayern Munich 2 in Germany's 3rd division. Surprisingly though, first team minutes never came knocking, and Sansone was left wanting more. A series of injuries didn't help the campaign. He had a hernia setback followed by an ankle surgery. It started to slow his momentum. A change was needed, and in the summer of 2011, Sansone joined Parma in Serie A. However, to increase his experience, he was then loaned to Crotone in the Serie B. There he played 35 matches, scoring 5 goals, and started to begin to carve out a bit of a reputation of a hard-working technical winger. This earned him a callback where he returned to Parma in 2012 and became a regular. Over 2 seasons, he scored 8 goals in 43 Serie A matches. Parma believed in him. They trusted him in the attack. A few highlights to watch back if you want to revisit some of those early years. And by January of 2014, well, a new chapter was on the horizon. Sassuolo had signed him in a co-ownership deal, and what followed was Sansone's breakout. Over 2 years, he made 84 appearances, scoring 17 goals in the Serie A, and he was moving with high-end entertainment value. Then came his move to La Liga in the summer of 2016, where Villarreal paid around 13 million euros for Sansone, and he adapted well, scoring 8 goals in 32 games in his first season, and totaling 14 goals over 53 appearances across 3 seasons with Villarreal. He would subsequently move back to Italy with Bologna and then followed with Lecce. And in the end of the day, Nicola Sansone is a footballer defined not necessarily by the headlines, but quietly a remarkable career. Munich may have lost him, but Bologna, Villarreal, Lecce, Italy all gained a dedicated professional. He's a lesson in the beautiful game that sometimes the best talent grows on different soil. The tricky forward at Manchester United had his start with the German Giants. Born on May 22nd, 2001 in Schiedam, Netherlands, to a Dutch father and a Nigerian mother, XherXher's footballing roots trace back locally, but early promise was evident, starting at Hekelingen, then followed by Spartan and subsequently to ADO Den Haag in 2013, but it was his move to Feyenoord's youth academy in 2016 that marked a pivotal point in his development. In 2017, at just 16 years old, XherXher made the bold decision to join Bayern Munich's youth ranks. This move would set the stage for a career that would see him rise through the ranks of European football. At Bayern, XherXher's potential, it was undeniable. He made a memorable debut for the first team in 2020, scoring 4 goals in 9 Bundesliga appearances. His performances contributed to Bayern's treble-winning season. However, with the attack depth at Bayern, opportunities became scarce, leading to loan spells at both Parma and Anderlecht. Those performances, whilst out on loan, caught the attention of Serie A club Bologna, who secured his services in August of 2022 for just over 8.5 million euros. And this deal included a buyback clause for Bayern and a 50% sell-on fee for any future transfer. And at Bologna, XherXher did not disappoint. In fact, he flourished. In the 2023-2024 season, he was instrumental in the club's historic qualification for the UEFA Champions League, scoring 12 goals, providing 7 assists. His performances, rightly so, drew interest from top European clubs, including AC Milan and Manchester United. By July 2024, you could say the rest is history, where Manchester United activated XherXher's 42.5 million euro release clause, bringing him to the Premier League, making it official. And he's having a bit of a stop and start career thus far with the Reds, at least as of late. He's scoring some important goals while at the same time putting on performances that warrant disappointment from the fans, and they've been vocal about it. XherXher's potential, it's just too high. There will be undoubtedly more twists to the tale of his career. Born on March 28, 2000, in Birmingham, Alabama, Chris Richards' football story began in the youth ranks of FC Dallas. His potential was evident early on, leading to a loan move to Bayern Munich in 2018. And impressed by his performances, Bayern secured his services permanently by January of 2019 with a 4.5-year contract. And at Bayern, Richard showcased some of that versatility, playing both as a central defender and a defensive midfielder. And his time at Bayern too was marked by consistent performances, contributing to the team's success in the division. However, with the arrival of high-profile players and a club's deep squad, first-team opportunities were limited. And so, Richards embarked on loan spells to TSG Hoffenheim in the Bundesliga, but it would be the Premier League side Crystal Palace where Richards would find more of a permanent home, joining the Premier League on a 5-year deal worth an initial £8.5 million. And at Crystal Palace, Richards quickly became a key part of the defense. His aerial prowess, the composure on the ball, tactical awareness, it made him an asset almost from the jump. Internationally, Richards has represented the United States at various youth levels, earning his senior debut in 2020. His performances with the national team have further solidified his reputation as a promising talent. Shaqiri's journey into football began in the youth ranks, but was quickly propelled into FC Basel's programming. His exceptional talent jump-started him through the youth system, and by 2009, he was making his mark on the first team. During his time at FC Basel, Shaqiri helped the club secure 3 consecutive Swiss Super League titles from 2009 to 2012. Following that season, Shaqiri made a high-profile move to Bayern Munich. Despite facing stiff competition for a starting position, Shaqiri's impact was undeniable, providing crucial goals and assists during his tenure. Seeking more regular first-team football, Shaqiri transferred to Inter Milan in January of 2015, and at Inter, he made significant contributions, including scoring goals in both domestic league matches and European competitions. But if anything, it was a quick pit stop because later in 2015, Shaqiri made a move to the Premier League in a bizarre signing for Stoke City. And over 3 seasons, he became a standout performer for the club, showcasing his dribbling skills, powerful shots, and ability to deliver the key passes. He had that extracurricular. But as Stoke got relegated, Shaqiri was on the move once again, and he had an opportunity to sign for Liverpool in 2018. He played a role in Liverpool's UEFA Champions League triumph in 2019 and their Premier League title in 2020, and he would become a bit of a cult hero. Shaqiri continued his career with a handful of journeyman transfers to Lyon and Chicago Fire and MLS before an emotional return to FC Basel. At 33 years old, he showcased that age is just a number, leading the Swiss Super League in assists and playing a crucial role in Basel's domestic success. Born on August 5th, 1995 in Copenhagen, Denmark, Højbjerg's footballing roots trace back to his early years at BK Schult, FC Copenhagen, and then Brøndby as well. His talent was evident. In 2012, at just age 16, he made the move to Bayern Munich's youth academy. By April of 2013, he had made his professional debut for Bayern's first team, becoming the club's youngest Bundesliga debut at the age of 17. Højbjerg had loan spells at FC Augsburg and Schalke, gaining valuable experience in the Bundesliga. In 2016, he transferred to Southampton in the Premier League for an estimated £12.8 million. And at Southampton, he quickly established himself as a leader, eventually captaining the team and making 134 appearances over the course of 4 seasons. Højbjerg would later join Spurs for £15 million, and under manager Jose Mourinho, he became an important part of the midfield, known for his defensive solidarity and leadership. His career in the Premier League began to fizzle out, and Pierre found a new home in France with Marseille, who he represents to this day. Diarra's footballing roots began in the youth ranks of local clubs before joining the academy of Le Havre, a club renowned for producing talented players. He later moved to Lyon-Quizou, where his potential as a defensive midfielder started to shine through. Diarra made an early move to the Bayern Munich ranks in 2000, and despite making 41 appearances over a couple of seasons, it wasn't enough for Bayern to retain his services, and he was sold to Liverpool in 2002. And at Liverpool, he would fail to integrate into the organization, not making a single appearance with the club. Diarra's professional breakthrough came at Bordeaux, where he played a key role in their midfield in the mid-2000s. His steady performances caught the eyes of bigger clubs, and by 2006, he secured a transfer to Olympique Lyonnais, the dominant French club of the era. However, limited playing time at Lyon led to a Marseille move on loan, where he regained his form and then proved his worth in the Liga. His career took an international turn in 2007, where he joined Charlton Athletic in the English Premier League. Although his stay in England was brief, Diarra adapted quickly to the physicality and the pace of the league. He's an old-school defensive midfielder that had that determination to make it in football, and it might have taken him some different steps. Might have done it the long way, but he got the job done. Kareem Adeyemi, a name that's lighting up Dortmund, echoing across Germany, and stirring a few regrets in Munich. Kareem's footballing journey began like many, a young boy with big dreams and even bigger pace. He started out at TSV Forsten Ried before joining Bayern Munich's youth academy at just 8 years old. That stint didn't last long. Adeyemi's time at Bayern was short, it's uncertain, there were disagreements over development paths, and by 2012 he had moved to Unterhaching. While Bayern looked elsewhere, Kareem found a place to grow and develop, and he did just that. By 2018, Red Bull Salzburg made their move, signing him at just 16 years old. But Salzburg, they had a plan. Rather than throwing him straight into the Austrian Bundesliga, they loaned him to the feeder club with FC Liefering in Austria's second tier. Kareem sharpened his instincts. He netted 6 goals in his first season, followed by 9 in the following year, and it was clear that the kid had something special. By 2020, he was back with Salzburg's first team and ready. That same year, he made his Champions League debut. Then came the 2021-2022 season, his breakout campaign, 19 goals in the league, several more in Europe, and the Austrian Bundesliga title in his pocket. People were starting to pay attention. Whispers were happening, and by May of 2022, he had signed officially with Borussia Dortmund for around 27 million euros, and this move made sense. Dortmund, famous for nurturing young talent, was the perfect next step, at least the logical one. And I can say firsthand, I think he's the fastest player I have ever seen play in person. And every club is taking notice. European giants are circling, Liverpool, Barcelona, and yes, even Bayern again have all been linked to potentially making a move. But for now, Kareem seems settled. His contract runs through 2027, and Dortmund have built a team that suits him. And what makes Adeyemi's story so compelling isn't just the goals or the pace, it's the arc. From being let go by Bayern as a kid to breaking records, scoring in the biggest matchups, and owning the Champions League spotlight, he's lived the kind of redemption story football fans love. Local boy who made it big somewhere else. And we focused on multiple different organizations and clubs and players that started in academies and went elsewhere, often never making that return, which begs the question, which club should we focus on next?